It's about giving you renewable energy solutions at a grassroots level that you can deploy right now. Right now, in the room, and in the coming weeks and months. To start that organizing process. Because we've been so good at playing defense. We have defended this state from the people who would come in and despoil and poison it. And we're really good at playing defense, and we have more defense to play as you see the bomb trains, which are rolling through Albany every day. But 95% of our attention tonight is on offense. It's on building the future. It's on giving ourselves a chance to think about how to picture the next, not 10 months or 10 years, but next 1,000 years. The next era of our energy independence and sustainability. And that's very, very, very important. So I thank you for being here tonight. We have in the house to address you a person I learn so much from every single day. Zephyr Teachout is here with us tonight.
I'd like to say it's Bethany's fault, but it's really Albany's fault. And I mean that in the best sense. First of all, thank you so much, Susan, and thank you for having it in this wonderful church. But I will say I often talk about the problems in Albany. I'm not talking about you guys. But as you may know, sort of somewhat against the odds, and I'm not the governor of the state of New York, but we did then any race against an incumbent governor and one half the counties. But the greatest delight was the 27% victory over Andrew Cuomo in Albany. Activists for a very long time, but he certainly saw and heard from some activists then as well. So it's all your fault, and now we're here to make you make up for it. So this is about, today one of the things we're trying to do is connect poetry and art and politics and power and markets in all these different ways. And I typically try to bring out a local poet. Am I not loud enough? I can go louder. So earlier today we were near where Edna St. Vincent Millay had lived, and I talked about my candle burns at both ends. It may not last the night, but oh my foes and oh my friends, it's such a lovely sight. That's our energy policy right now in America. But I love William Kennedy, but I thought William Kennedy wasn't really the right poet for the moment. You have extraordinary artists here, but they're all so gloomy. So I want to start with a poet who has meant a lot to me, Audre Lorde, and her discussion about the difference between rhetoric and poetry, which she wrote. This is a poem she wrote. I'm not going to read you the whole poem, just the first line. But she wrote this poem after a young African-American man was shot. A boy was shot by police officers, and looking at the press release response to the shooting. This is, I think, about 20 years ago. And she said the difference between rhetoric and poetry is you kill your children instead of yourselves. But the basic sort of insight there is that we are all so used to a kind of non-poetic politics where everybody's throwing around certain phrases to defend and explain. But if you really want to transform something, you have to engage in the poetic, and that requires some sacrifice of ourselves in a very personal way, whether it's in our language or in our actions or in our time. And I know many of you spend a lot of time. So, But the real poem I'm here to talk about is We Sing the Body Electric, right? My own hometown Walt Whitman. I want to start with saying what I want for New York. And if you're here, you have some vision of what you want. But what I want for New York and for the world is I want people to be able to breathe and drink water and eat safely. I want a small business economy. I want kids to learn poetry and art in schools and sports. But as far as energy, this is what I want. And I want also for us to be able to eat and drink and breathe safely for other people as well. So that when you are drinking water, some other kid isn't getting poisoned because of it. So most people want this, but they feel a little bit the way they feel about politics, where 96% of Americans think that politics is corrupt, but 91% think there isn't anything you can do about it. So they don't do anything about it because they feel like they're out of touch. I feel like there's a similar thing with renewable energy. I don't know the numbers, but most people think we should have a renewable energy future, sustainable energy future, but they don't think it's possible. But it is possible. And if you have a job tonight, it's to go out and let other people know how possible it is. In Germany last year on June 9th, Germany met over 50% of its electricity needs by solar alone. Not 50 years of investments. And there was another day where Germany actually met 75% of its electricity needs by solar alone. And if you're thinking Germany is this balmy, Floridian paradise, it has sort of the solar capacity of Alaska. So we can do this in New York. We don't just want to rely on solar, but if you look at it, there's one Colorado study that said in New York we have basically 1,000% of our current electricity needs could be met by solar alone.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching for freedom.
Give me the silent sun with full beams dazzling, and I will make divine magnetic lands. He knew solar power really well. With the divine love of comrades, with the divine love of comrades, I will plant companionship thick as trees along the rivers and the Great Lakes and the plains of America. O free and ecstatic sun. O free and ecstatic democracy. Thank you.
Zephyr Teachout. Yeah. Standing ovation in the middle of the show. Why not? This is the best possible outcome. Thank you. So we're here to encourage, obviously, a democratic space. We're here to encourage an organizing space. We're here to encourage a scientific space.
Well, boys, we need the land. Soon be over, soon be over, soon be over. Yeah, the boys need the land. Soon be over. If we keep on walking, keep on talking, watching for freedom. Ain't gonna let nobody turn it round, turn it round, turn it round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn it round. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching for freedom, last time. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching for freedom, yeah.
Bethany